To be back live again is wonderful. Welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. You are watching Daily Dive. I'm your host, Michael Carvelis, live in Guyton, Georgia here. It is Monday, May the 5th, 2025. Today is Cinco de Mayo. Yesterday was May the 4th. I'm more of a Star Wars guy than I am a drinking guy, but whatever. We're live on 12 on Sports via YouTube and X. Reminder, subscribe to the 12 on Sports YouTube channel for other great shows and live sports. On today's awesome show, I'm going to get into inevitable, why the league should have seen this coming, but boy, did Vancouver at least put up a fight. Yes, the Bandits are going back to the NLL Finals. The Temper-Birds, why Halifax has already lost the series, and to be fair, the Rush exposed why Halifax probably shouldn't have even started the series. And of course, we'll get to the 2026 chances for the Philadelphia Wings after finishing 12th in unified standings. There's a lot of stuff up in the air about that team. We would like to first let you know that this show is presented by the ticketing platform at 12onsports.com. Head over to 12ozsports.com and click the tickets tab, or go to 12onsports.com/tickets and search for your favorite team. Now, to be fair, there's only like 3 teams left, and really only 2, as I'll get to later. But if you want to go to the NLL Finals on, Friday, May the 16th, you've got to go to 12onsports.com and click the tickets tab. And don't worry, they have every sport, not just the NLL. Also, tickets from your favorite music artist concerts, not to mention Broadway and theater. But the tickets are all for less than what you'll pay from the big dogs. So why not help the small puppies out like us here at 12 on Sports? We thank you for that. 12onsports.com. Visit the website and click the tickets tab. Search for your favorite sports team. And thank us later. Okay, so a very quick weekend. And I just would like to say that before we get into our first topic, I have been on this bandwagon for a while now. Not only are doubleheaders absolutely stupid during the regular season, but any league where literally travel has apparently handicapped and handcuffed these teams to where Halifax moans and complains and won't shut up about their travel schedule. Here's a way to make that even better. Because you're a week-to-week league during the regular season, why the heck are you playing 2 playoff games in one weekend? It's always been stupid. It's a dumb look, and I've got more on Brett Fruit later in the week. But folks, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a dumb schedule, okay? I can blame Halifax, and rightfully so, for complaining about the leagues. Listen, no one knows what happened, but there's a lot of people that kind of have a feeling that Halifax was the one who made a fuss. So instead of fussing about the travel, why not do it, I don't know, like there's been 21 weeks before this. Why can't we just do 1 playoff game a week? Like, what is the point of 2 games in one weekend? Again, if Buffalo had won game 1, which they did, we get a whole week to talk about game 2. Instead, we get to talk about, Buffalo's already in the championship. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid scheduling. The league has always been bad at scheduling. I'm tired of it as a fan who wants this thing to grow, but whatever. So we're going to get into it. I'm sorry for starting off like that, but I'm so sick of there are people, again, getting paid $250,000 a year to make decisions a 10-year-old could make. It's stupid. All right, well, let's get into this. The Buffalo Bandits were inevitable. I've said it probably for 90% of this season, and there were times where I was like, is Buffalo vulnerable? Yeah, no. So they were, because I said this before and I'll say it again. The only thing that's going to stop Buffalo is themselves, okay? Period, point blank, end of story. If you believe right now that Buffalo has a chance of losing the finals, I have a bridge to sell you, and you literally could just walk across the area. But whatever. That's bad salesmanship by me. Here's the issue. This roster is stupid. I know Buffalo advanced to their 5th straight finals, and good for them. Here's the thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. In 20 years, this roster is going to be stupid looking. We're going to laugh at it. We're going to wonder how the league got to this point. Have you read the Bandits roster on paper? Kyle Buchanan, who I put as underrated, might be their worst offensive player. Maybe. I don't know. Don't get mad at me. I love the guy. But it's like, what are we doing? Like, people thought Vancouver had a chance, man. That's the best part. Oh, man. People thought that Buffalo could actually lose. Folks, I'm telling you now, Saskatchewan, Halifax, Vancouver, none of them are beating this team. Because all it takes is a lick of discipline, and Buffalo's going to kill you. This is not a shot at the city of Buffalo. I know their fans don't know how to read anything. I know their fans are not the smartest of individuals. But I just need people to realize, and people, I can't really laugh and do this on my show. It's dumb I have to. There's gonna be Buffalo fans out there. You called us, you stupid. Yeah, you know who you are. There are a few respectful Buffalo fans. There's also the people on social media that can be very stupid and ignorant on purpose, okay? That's who I'm talking to. Not talking to the people that I've actually had good interactions with. But the majority, 90% of them are jerks, okay? And they choose to be jerks because they don't want to listen to anything anyone says. But folks, this is not a shot at Buffalo fans. This is not a shot at even the Bandits because they're playing it by the rules. This is a shot at a league who's been poorly run for 38 years. Listen, it is really awesome that Buffalo's back in the finals. But it is also inevitable what happened this weekend. There's a reason why I told you guys coming to this weekend, even Pat Gregoire, to a lesser extent, told you guys, do we know who Buffalo is? Like, it was so obvious what was going to happen. And people were like, oh, well, they only scored 5 against San Diego. Listen, shout out to the Seals for holding the Bandits to 5 goals. Do you really think that was going to happen the entire playoffs? Really? Come on, guys. They made Vancouver look really silly. They made Kermalowski, Christian Del Bianco, and Keegan Ball look absolutely silly. Chase Frazier's goal to ice the game was, I guess it was impactful, but it meant nothing. I was like, okay, yeah, they're doing it again. It didn't feel like, wow, what a hard-fought battle. The entire game 2 for Vancouver was, can we get in these guys' heads? Their goal was to play the whistle more than it was to play the game. And it was painfully obvious watching that. Now, I do want to say, for 2 franchises that absolutely just told us all year how great the fans were, decide to price hike their playoff tickets to where Buffalo had, this is crazy, the Buffalo Bandits, who I will say this again to people who actually want to listen. This team averaged, the Buffalo Bandits averaged 18,000 people during this regular season. And you're trying to tell me because we played on Friday that 4,000 people didn't show up? How dumb does that sound when you say it out loud? Like, it sounds like you need to be mentally checked. Oh, it's because it was on Friday. That doesn't matter. I don't care what Scott Loeffler says in the replies. Oh, Historically speaking, the league sucks, okay? That's just putting it lightly. The league doesn't know how to run its own stuff. Okay? But 14,400 people is the equivalent of a good night in Calgary. And for people to go up there and say, oh, well, that's more than most franchises. Yeah, imagine having that stupid mindset. That is why we are where we are at. Because these people are complacent. They don't want to work to do anything. There are people in the front office of the league who are making $250,000 a year to put this product out. The Buffalo Bandits roster is stacked to an unfair advantage, which I've said all season long. Unless injuries happen, this team is not losing another game. On top of that, not only you've got the travel stuff in Halifax and Saskatchewan that put a dark shadow over the entire weekend, and you have 14,000 people in Buffalo. That is awful. This team is back-to-back champions. They are the only great team in the city of Buffalo, an amazing sports town, and they put up 14,000 people in game one. That is miserable. You cannot justify those numbers. And people who do so are have the same mindset of the people who sit around, oh, that's good, that's great. The same people who watch the broadcast be terrible in Vancouver and say, oh, that's fine, it's cool, we're still here. Yeah, the league is going to fold if we have that mindset. So, again, this weekend, as great as Buffalo was overshadowed by so many different things than just the game results. Unfollow me, block me, I don't care. I'm not scared to talk about what's plain as day. The travel issues between Saskatchewan and Halifax were absolutely amateur at best, the way that was handled by the league and by Halifax. And we get 14,000 people in Buffalo when they averaged 18,000 during the regular season. That, again, is awful. And you have people who, for coping mechanisms, will say, oh, it's a Friday. It's a Friday. Wow. You know what? I'll say it again. Whoever made the decision to hike up those prices should lose their job immediately. You cannot this league is in no place to double ticket prices. These are the results. And again, the game in Vancouver, again, flexed Buffalo's muscles. And in a few years, Vancouver will be just like Buffalo, where every free agent is going to come there, and they're going to get special accommodations because they live in the area. Guys, the CBA needs to fix that because this was not a contest this weekend. Vancouver had a 2-goal lead in game 2, and it didn't even feel like it. Buffalo did what they wanted and bended that team flat over on its bedside in the fourth quarter. Again, Vancouver led game 2. I know I'm going like 3 different topics at one time here. Vancouver led 8-6. It was outscored 5-1 the rest of the way. You know why? Because Buffalo is not scared of you. The only way to get in this team's head is to play the penalty game, which I knew once I started seeing that, Vancouver's cooked. They're done. Proud of them. Good for Buffalo. This weekend was so overshadowed by just stuff like an easy roster, which again, in hindsight, is easier to say. I get it. But the league allows this roster to happen. That is malpractice of league procedure. You can't allow that to happen. Steve Dietrich deserves credit. Why does he deserve credit for building this roster? What has he done? convince guys to come close to home and win a championship and stack the deck? There's nothing that says that's great GM work. It's just not. Like, we gotta stop doing that. And like I said, and Vancouver in their winner go home game was their attendance was nowhere near what was reported. 9,000 my butt. That is a lie. I just want the league to be a little bit professional, and sometimes it just looks stupid. So, again, congrats to Buffalo. We all knew that this was going to happen. The weekend went exactly how I thought it would. And now we're just waiting on Saskatchewan to finally get a home playoff game. I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, like, I'm watching these games, I didn't feel there was any adversity for Buffalo at all. Like, John Tavares, good coach, sure. Again, all it takes is a lick of discipline, and Buffalo's not losing another game. It's not because they're that good. It's because the odds are against the entire league. That is why. Because they're the hot market, and Toronto never can get past these guys. But I'm telling you guys, in 20 years, we're going to laugh at this roster. And for those people that claimed that Friday was the reason why Buffalo had 14,000 people, I'm laughing right now. It's insane. We come back to the show. I'm going to unleash on Micah Kersey because point blank period, what he allowed in Halifax was completely a fireable offense. We'll be right back to Daily Dive.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Daily Dive, folks. I know it's playoffs. I know it's just so wonderful time of year. But after following this league for 3 consecutive years, it is exhausting. It is point blank, flat out exhausting to see people in power make the most awful and lazy decisions any sports league has ever made in their lives. It's the equivalent of semi-pro. So I know there's going to be a lot of people that call me a hater. so be it. Keep it up, okay? Because the more casual mentality, the more people with the mentality of it's okay, we're gonna be fine. Those are the kind of people. That's the reason why we have 38 years of absolutely nothing to show for it. That's why. And I've noticed it in less than 3 years. It's really impressive. Let's talk about this now, because the Halifax Thunderbirds, listen, folks, another touchy subject that no one else is going to do, so I'll do for you. There is a serious issue in Halifax that I've brought up on the show before that showed its ugly head again. The issue is Micah Kersey. And I don't know if it stops with him or if it goes even higher to the owner / executive, whatever, Kurt Stiers. But what it is in the enabling of an absolute Bush League team. And that involves every person on that roster who believes that this stuff is okay. When you're getting your butts kicked 14-7 in a home playoff game, something that your franchise had to have because you didn't want to pay for travel, which was absolutely stupid. But for you to then go down on 3 consecutive penalty shots because you can't keep your temper in check is Bush League and dangerous for the league. Folks, you see right there a photo of Non-Con Thompson, who literally forced Ryan Keenan to get in a fight. Watching that back made me so angry because it was like, oh, there we go. Just like last year's playoffs. Once again, more Bush League stuff that does nothing but scare fans away. Listen, the Elijah Gash and Zach Belter fight was great because it was 2 willing partners. What Non-Con Thompson did, what players did last year in the playoffs in Albany, what players have done this year all season is absolutely dangerous and will scare fans away. Ryan Keenan in a game that was, again, 14-7. The Russian walked in there and stomped the living daylights out of Halifax. Knowing that context, Non-Con Thompson sees something transpiring on the sidelines. And instead of letting it go and living to fight another day, he really drags Ryan Keenan, forces him to fight. Against 2 referees holding him back, Ryan Keenan saying, dude, clearly not willing to fight. And Non-Con Thompson leaves him bruised with a swollen face. Well, he's a tough guy. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if he wins that fight if Ryan Keenan does fight him. But what transpired is exactly another reason why this league is failing. Non-Con Thompson should 1,000% be suspended for at least 1 game in Saskatchewan, if not both. Based on the league rules, a fight only happens if 2 people are willing. Ryan Keenan had his helmet off. So Non-Con Thompson, the barbarian that he is throwing left hooks to a guy when his helmet is not even off. The guy has told him it lasts for like 30 seconds of Ryan Keenan trying to break away. And Non-Con Thompson could not control his teenager temper. It is sickening. And Non-Con Thompson, you are an idiot for that. But it goes to a bigger picture in Halifax that has happened the entire season, that has happened last season, that happens every single time. Micah Kersey enables this stuff. And if it comes time to, he didn't see it coming, he stands there like a doorknob, like a fool. Again, we can either sit back and act like semi-pro football players who need cop surveillance 24/7 at a local field, who never get their home arenas. They're constantly moving home arenas. We can be like the semi-pro football players, a bunch of has-beens, convicts, and losers, or we can try to be like the next major league. It is your choice. If you're a player who thinks this is okay, you don't need to be a part of this. What we're doing right now is making the PLL look very smart. Paul Rabel would not allow this. Why does Halifax? Why does the NLL? Guys, I know that these guys have day jobs. I get it. But I'll be darned if I play a sporting event that makes me do what Non-Con Thompson did to Ryan Keenan. I'll be darned. It's unacceptable. It's unprofessional. It's Bush League. It's a guy who clearly does not want to make it in this league or does not want the league to succeed. I don't care how angry you are. That is never okay. The NBA wouldn't allow it. The NFL wouldn't allow it. Baseball wouldn't allow it. Hockey wouldn't allow it. Why should we? I have no sympathy for Non-Con Thompson for calling him out because he chose to do this. He chose it. He dragged a player around the field for 30 seconds, swelled up his face, bruised him. That's unacceptable. That's not a family atmosphere. That's not two willing guys trying to fight. That was one guy being an abuser. Guys, that cannot happen. And so oftentimes it does. Specifically by this team in purple and orange. Micah Kersey needs to go. Non-Con Thompson needs to be suspended. I hope the Rush destroy them in game 2. I just don't see how this happens. I don't. It's dumb. Again, this is going to be sent to me. You got to be nicer. I don't care. This is wrong. And nobody's calling. No media people are calling it out. The same ones who are nominated for Media Person of the Year will not call out this barbaric act by Non-Con Thompson. Micah Kersey allows it, stands there like a doorknob. When is it going to end? If I had kids, I would not feel safe bringing them to that event, especially when this team is involved. That's an issue. That is a serious issue. Again, I don't know what culture Micah Kersey has, but there was a great bow put on this at the end of this game. Austin Shanks, a former Thunderbird who dropped a sock trick on his team. That's 6 goals for those of you that do not know. Ryan Shanks had this quote. They lost their heads. We didn't. That is a very powerful quote from a guy who was literally just there less than a year ago. Why do you think Austin Shanks left? Because whatever the heck is going on in that locker room is unacceptable and unprofessional. And anyone who condones it needs to not be a part of this league. Folks, I'll say it again, and the reason I brought up semi-pro football, I tried to commentate semi-pro football. I saw great potential. I literally got a local team 4,000 likes on Facebook. No other team in the area in semi-pro football had at least 1,000. I did that. I had a meeting with a local CBS employee who was like, hey, we want to partner with you guys. The next time the team played, cops were involved. I never heard from that CBS employee again. Never texted me back after I reached out multiple times. Guys, money is never going to come to this league with stuff like this happening. Because if I'm in the stands or if I'm in business and I see that, I'm like, what are they doing? These are like Tyler Pace, and credit to him, calls this league professional athletes. If I'm even an owner, forget Kurt Stiers. If I'm like an owner, like in Philadelphia, why do I want to fly these guys charter? Why? Not talking about the Wings specifically, but just why would I do that when they're doing stuff like this? It's stupid. There's no place in it for any sport, even the UFC. If you're hitting a guy in the back of the head, I think you get disqualified. So what does non-con Thompson think he is doing? And again, it's a pattern all familiar with this one team in Halifax. It's unbelievable. And after the fuss that was made about Halifax having to have game one at home, they didn't want to travel. How did it work out for them? That's what happened. That's insane to me. I watched the first 3 quarters of this game. I was with friends. I don't care what the referees were doing or not doing, or enforcing or not enforcing. What happened at the end of this game should not happen. But yet in the playoffs, it's happened back-to-back years where this team has lost its absolute composure. It's insane to me. It makes no sense. We come back. Speaking of the Wings, let's talk about them. I'm actually going to end the show on a high note. I think Philadelphia might look pretty good next year. Daily Dive will return.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
You need tickets to that next event? We've got them. That's right, tickets.12ozsports.com. Get you to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you can think of. And the promo code 12OZ or ROME gets you an additional discount. Don't feed the massive ticket corporate machine. Go to tickets.12ozsports.com and enjoy the show. America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
12onsports.com, click the tickets tab, and you know what? We're actually going to end the show on a better note than we started. And I know I had to get some stuff off my chest, but we're back to your regular scheduled programming. Guys, I love the playoffs, but it's like some things have to be said. If no one else is going to do it, I'll say it. All right, so we've been doing this thing called the 2026 Chances, and right now we're going to get to the Philadelphia Wings, who had a record of 7-11 this past season. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room here is, are they going to get sold? Are they going to fold? We don't know, okay? All we know for now is that what they have going into next season. Now, I believe Mitch Jones is a free agent in some capacity, UFA or whatever it is. I think it's UFA, unrestricted free agent. But let's just assume they're going to next year with Coach Ian Rubel, with Brendan O'Neill, with I guess George Terrence again, with Nick Damoud. I'll put it this way. I actually have more faith in Deacon Knott than I do Nick Damoud. Because as I've thought about this more and more, it's like I call Nick Damoud a Panther City product or a Panther City merchant, if you will. Deacon Knott, before we get to Deacon Knott, like Nick Damoud also had his coach Tracy Koluski on the Wings coaching staff. But I do think next season, Deacon Knott is going to start, if not week 1, within the first 5 weeks, in my opinion. Deacon Knott was actually, fun fact, the first ever Minto Cup that I tuned into heavily was the one that Deacon Knott was a part of and won the championship with. I even forgot the team he was a part of, but that's on me. I just think Deacon Knott is the future of the Philadelphia Wings. I thought he was a very awesome goalie in the Minto. I think he's shown really good flashes in his brief stints in NLL relief work, and I believe he started a game this year. It wasn't too bad after all. I have to admit that this season, after Holden Cattoni was traded to Las Vegas, or should I say exiled to Las Vegas, I really felt like Brandon O'Neill was going to take that elite next step. He did not. But I do think he might do it next season. I am scared of a sophomore slump for O'Neill, because I know that's what happened to Jack Hanna, and then, of course, Jack Hanna exploded this year again. But we didn't see a lot from Brandon O'Neill this season. We saw really awesome flashes, but we didn't get to see him unlocked yet. He wasn't a big part of the offense. The offense relied so much more on other guys, which is why I thought comparing the Brandon O'Neill and Dyson Williams thing was a bit unfair to Brennan, because Dyson had way more opportunities to have the ball on his stick than Brandon O'Neill did. With that being said, O'Neill still has to get better. I am curious to see if Mitch Snoo stays in Philadelphia. I am curious to see if Michael Sowers progresses or even is back with the team next year. I'm curious to see what other defensive pieces they add. And I'm also very excited to see Joe Rosatier's swan song after a historic and career year. Again, this team's biggest question will definitely be goaltending, but I do think this team showed flashes. To start the year, after the year they had last season, before this one, I thought they started very well. The 8-game losing streak, obviously, cannot happen again. But if this team is in Philadelphia, and Brandon O'Neill and Joe Rosatier are still there, Nick Damoud and Deacon Knott are still there, especially Deacon Knott, and Coach Ian Rubel is there, I trust the Wings to finally turn this thing around. They might be a playoff team next year. Again, the jump from last year to this year was pretty impressive to me, but still was not good enough. Chances to win the championship, I don't want to compare. I'll say 5% to be conservative. Chances to make the playoffs, I'd say it's over 50%. I'll take the Wings in the playoffs next year. I believe that. Again, if the franchise is still standing, you get it, okay? But yeah, that's today's show. Again, if you tuned in and saw me ranting, it's because I say things people don't want to say out loud. It's like I'm cussing over here. I'm not saying anything terrible. I'm just being honest. And I feel like sometimes other media members don't like doing that because I get it. But it's like, guys, we got to move. We got to get better. And I think everyone knows that. I love this league, but man, it is frustrating sometimes. When we come back tomorrow, we're going to let you know the results of round 1 of the Fresh Fits. Newsflash, Non-Con Thompson did win. So after all that stuff about Non-Con Thompson, he did advance. That is what I'll say. But there's a few votes ending today, or may have ended by the time the show started. I didn't check. But yeah, we've got some good matchups next week to give you guys on the Instagram and Twitter polls. And I believe we had one almost tie, but I think the guy brought it, pulled it out. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk more tomorrow as well. about the 2026 chances for the Albany Firewolves. That should be a good one. How about a turnaround from this year to next year? That should be fun. Be sure to follow us on social media on Instagram and Twitter at dilly.lax. A reminder to click the link tree in our social media bios to check out the shop with our awesome merchandise, or go directly to the shop by visiting dailydivelacks.creator-spring.com. Thanks again for bearing with me here. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, 4 o'clock Eastern. This has been a production of Torrance Sports and Daily Dive. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.